around him accountable? I don't know.
And that's it from Washington. Let's return to Sahel in Doha.
Thanks very much, Shihab. Well, moving on now to world tennis. Number one, Caroline Wozniacki, was safely through to round 3 in Qatar. We'll find out which 3 top seeds tumbled out of the second round in Doha. And Pakistan's captain puts on a 5-star performance in his side's first World Cup match. That's all coming up straight after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here's Zoe now with all of the sport.
Thanks very much. Champions League holders Inter Milan have been beaten in the first round of their last 16 tie. They lost 1-0 at home to Bayern Munich. In a repeat of last year's final, this time Bayern have taken the honours, though they had to wait until the 90th minute. Mario Gomez with the goal that could prove crucial. Elsewhere, Marseille held Manchester United to a 0-0 draw in France, leaving United with a slight advantage in the return home leg. Well, Porto are through to the next round of the Europa League despite losing 1-0 at home to Sevilla. They're into the last 16 thanks to the away goals rule, where they'll play CSKA Moscow. Liverpool, meanwhile, are unlikely to risk skipper Steven Gerrard for Thursday's home leg of their Europa League tie with Sparta Prague. Gerrard's been named in the squad, but he's not expected to return from injury until Sunday's game at West Ham. Liverpool are hoping to claim a place in the last 16 with victory at Anfield. The two sides drew 0-0 in Prague in the first leg, and Liverpool are strong favourites to complete the job in front of their own fans.
The responsibility is on us to go and win the game. But fortunately for us, that's nothing new. The responsibility has been on us many times to go and win games, and they've gone past that, they've done it, they've been successful. So we just need to carry that trend and that fashion on.
Manchester City have confirmed that keeper Shay Given may be out for up to 3 months with a shoulder injury. Given is just one of several injuries, and manager Roberto Mancini faces a midfield headache as he prepares for their Europa League return leg against Greek side Aris Salonika.
We have 3 midfielders, Gareth, Yaya and Patrick. We are finished our midfielder, and we should think that the game tomorrow will be very difficult, because 0-0 is a good result, but it's not the best result. For this, I think that we should pay attention. We need all players.
In Serie A, Roma have made a winning start under new coach Vincenzo Montella. They beat Bologna 1-0. Montella's taken over until the end of the season after Claudio Ranieri's resignation following 4 straight defeats. And it was Daniele De Rossi who gave him the perfect start, firing home just before the break to send Roma up to 6th in the league. Well, in the English Premier League, just the one match, Arsenal beat Stoke to close to within 1 point of leaders Manchester United, who do, though, have a game in hand. New Zealand's Prime Minister John Key says he still hopes that matches in this year's Rugby World Cup can be played in Christchurch. But local officials say it's too early to tell whether that will be possible after Tuesday's devastating earthquake. New Zealand's second largest city is scheduled to host 7 games, including 2 quarter-finals in September and October this year. But that's been thrown into doubt after the 6.3 magnitude quake killed at least 75 people.
Look, if we could host the Rugby World Cup as we're intending to in Christchurch, I'd like to do that. It's some way into the future. It's a very important city to New Zealand, and it would be a demonstration that Christchurch is back up on its feet. I mean, one of the issues may be accommodation. We know there's been substantial damage to hotels, so again, that's something the Rugby World Cup Minister will be looking at.
To tennis, and just days after returning to the #1 ranking, Caroline Wozniacki has escaped the fate of several seeded players at the Qatar Ladies Open by reaching the 3rd round. Wozniacki, who won in Dubai on Sunday, showed no signs of slowing down after a 2-day rest. She gave 2006 champion Nadia Petrova a thorough workout, but came out on top, winning 6-3, 6-2 in a commanding display. No problems for 5th seed Jelena Jankovic. She raced through the first set of her last 16 tie with Sonja Metsia, taking it 6-love. And she carried on in the same vein in the second, winning that 6-1 for a straight sets win. Well, 3rd seed Francesca Schiavone made a shock early exit. She was beaten in straight sets by Peng Shuai of China. Peng, who was a qualifier for this tournament, dominated from start to finish and disposed of the tired-looking French Open champion 7-5, 6-3 to reach the quarters. 8th seed Shahar Peer was also knocked out by Mariam Barteri in straight sets. While on the men's tour, Novak Djokovic remains on course to defend his Dubai Championship title for a 3rd successive year. He took his winning streak in the tournament to 11 matches with a 6-3, 2-6, 6-4 win over Feliciano Lopez. He'll now play Florian Mayer in the last 8. And top seed Roger Federer coasted into the quarters with a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Spain's Marcel Granolli. Up next for Federer is Ukraine's Sergei Stakhovsky. Australian captain Ricky Ponting has been reprimanded by the International Cricket Council after he damaged a dressing room TV after his poor performance against Zimbabwe. While on the pitch, Pakistan have proved they could yet challenge Australia's grip on the World Cup. They beat Kenya in their opening Group A match by 205 runs.
It's been a turbulent 4 years for Pakistan. After an embarrassing first-round exit in the last World Cup, there was much to prove. But a shaky start left them fearing another mauling by one of cricket's minnows. As first, Mohammad Hafiz, and then Ahmed Shahzad trudged back to the pavilion inside the first 7 overs. But Kenya's giant-killing hopes faded as Pakistan finally found top gear. Kamran Akmal and Yunus Khan swept Kenya's bowlers aside, their 98-run stand salvaging Pakistan's pride. Misbah-ul Haq added fresh impetus, his half-century making a memorable World Cup debut. And Umar Akmal joined in the party, commanding control with his potent power play as Pakistan cruised to a massive 317 for 7. For Kenya, skittled for 69 in their opening match, it was a mountain to climb. Despite a competent start, Kenya's composure began to crumble. Run-outs and mishaps in the middle, a sign of the collapse to come. Flummoxed by the flair and form of Shahid Afridi, Kenya were left in a spin. The Pakistan captain's 5 for 16 sparked a spectacular meltdown as Kenya fell a massive 205.